What if the Titanic made it? No iceberg, no midnight panic, no 1,500 lives lost in the freezing Atlantic. The unsinkable ship lives up to its name and arrives safely in New York. But here's the twist. If Titanic never sank in April 1912, the 20th century as we know it might have taken a completely different course, because the Titanic wasn't just a ship, it was a symbol of wealth, of empire, of blind ambition. And when it didn't sink, history didn't get its warning shot. Let's rewind to April 10th, 1912. Titanic departs Southampton with over 2,200 passengers and crew, bound for New York. It's the largest moving object ever built, a marvel of engineering, a floating palace. But in this timeline, there's no iceberg on April 14th, or maybe the ship turns in time. Either way, Titanic arrives safely on April 17th, 1912. Now imagine John Jacob Astor, the richest man aboard, survives and funds massive real estate projects. The White Star Line becomes legendary. Booking explodes. The luxury ocean liner industry thrives for decades longer. But the true changes ripple far beyond the ship's decks. 1. No Titanic, no safety revolution. In our world, the Titanic disaster triggered a wave of reform. Lifeboats required for all passengers. 24/7 radio monitoring. International Ice Patrol created. But without the disaster, none of that happens in time. Instead, imagine this. A much larger ship sinks in 1915 with even greater loss of life. Or a wartime disaster during World War I exposes the same flaws. Too late. Public confidence in sea travel is shaken not in 1912, but perhaps a decade later, during wartime. And more people die. 2. The rich shape America differently. Titanic carried some of the most influential figures of the Gilded Age. John Jacob Astor IV survives and doubles down on real estate and tech investment. He was already backing early aviation. Imagine if he funded the Wright brothers long term. Benjamin Guggenheim lives, and the Guggenheim mining empire takes a different path, perhaps even shifting earlier into energy and oil. Political figures who had died survive, altering influence across finance, art, and philanthropy. By 1930, the power elite in New York looks very different, and so does Wall Street. 3. The ocean liner age never ends. Titanic survival proves something dangerous. Luxury ships are safe. So, White Star Line builds Titanic 2. 3. For larger, faster, grander. The golden age of sea travel dominates through the 1930s and 40s. Air travel develops slower, seen as niche or military focused. In this world, by 1950, transatlantic trips are still by ship. Ocean liners become status symbols, almost like flying palaces today. Cruise culture starts earlier, but for elites only. The Titanic's legacy is no longer tragedy, but trendsetter. 4. World War I plays out differently. Titanic's story was a warning about hubris. Its sinking humbled nations. But in this alternate timeline, that humility never arrives. And when World War I erupts in 1914, powers enter with more arrogance, not less. Maybe naval strategies are riskier, assuming ships can survive anything. Civilian transport is less protected, leading to larger maritime losses. Resources wasted on massive liners delay military ship production. It's possible that Germany sees earlier success at sea, or that the U.S. enters the war differently if key shipping routes are less prepared. 5. The cultural memory shifts. Without the Titanic tragedy, no James Cameron movie, no iconic Jack and Rose, no iceberg metaphors, no band playing Nearer, My God, to Thee. Instead, Titanic becomes a travel legend, a nostalgic symbol of elegance and excess. The emotional impact of the disaster, the stories of bravery, loss, inequality, are erased from the public consciousness. We lose a global touchstone. Will we still talk about rich versus poor preparedness or climate hubris the same way? Maybe not. Here's a twist most people don't know. If Titanic had arrived safely, its sister ship, Britannic, might have never been converted into a hospital ship. In our timeline, Britannic still sank in 1916, hit by a mine. But in this version, with no Titanic tragedy, the White Star Line prioritizes commercial routes, possibly keeping Britannic in civilian service and sending others into war zones. That single ripple could change military logistics across the Mediterranean. So, what if the Titanic never sank? On the surface, it sounds like a win, more lives saved, a legendary voyage completed. But history doesn't work in straight lines. Sometimes a tragedy prevents a worse one, and a warning ignored becomes a future disaster. Without Titanic's fall, we lose its message, that even the greatest human creations are fragile. Would a safer Titanic mean a riskier world? Tell us what you think in the comments. And hit subscribe, because next time on Possibility Engine, we're asking, what if we colonize Mars by 2050?